Welcome to another Acres of Reed video. This time we want to show you our wild yeast sourdough starter English muffins. And as a little bonus, you've got a serving suggestion at the end. To get started, you're going to need 1 cup of wild sourdough starter, 2 cups of milk whole, 6 cups of all-purpose flour. You could also use unbleached flour, it'll work the same. Keep 2 cups reserved. 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1½ teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and a few pinches of cornmeal. The first thing you need to do is get your milk, starter, and 4 cups of flour in a bowl. Stir it all up together, cover it, and leave it alone for at least 8 hours or overnight. The next morning, this is what it should look like. Then you need to add to that bowl sugar, baking powder, salt, and the last 2 cups of flour. Stir it up thoroughly, and this is what you have. You need to know it's a very soft dough. It will be sticky. This is not a yeast bread that should be tacky. This one will be sticky. If you have a silicone mat, that's what you see here, to help knead it with and not have to use extra flour. You're going to be tempted to stir in more flour. Resist that urge. You do not want to make this too thick or tough. Once you've got your dough to this stage, go ahead and prepare your board. I've just lightly sprinkled some flour to lay the dough on. Once you have your dough on the floured surface, move it around a little bit and flip it over, move it around again. What you're trying to do is just get a very light dusting of flour so when you roll it out, you won't stick. And here you have the dough rolled out. You want it to be about 1/2 inch thick. Too much thinner than that and you're going to have a very thin, crispy English muffin. Too much thicker than that, a balloon. Before you cut it out, you need to prepare a piece of waxed or parchment paper. Lay it out on your surface and get it thoroughly sprinkled with cornmeal. You don't need a ton of cornmeal, but you definitely need coverage. This is where you're going to transfer your English muffins once they're cut. Try to get as many cuts on the first pass as you can. Now I use a 4-inch cutter because we want a really ample English muffin. And here you see all of them cut out and transferred onto that waxed paper. When you have to re-roll your scraps, you may need to let your dough rest a few moments before you roll it out and cut it. If you don't do that, you could end up with your dough not wanting to relax and work with you. Now you want to cover with a tea towel and let it sit 45 minutes to an hour. It's not going to really rise or double in size. That's not what you're looking for. You just want it to get light and airy. If you're using a gas stove like we use, you want to have a very low flame. Barely have the flame touching the bottom of the pan. If you have it too low, you're not going to cook it all the way through. If you have your flame any higher than this, you're going to end up with burn on the outside and raw in the middle. Here you have the first round of English muffins all on the pan. You need to cook them for 6 to 8 minutes. They should be golden brown on the outside and cooked through. This is them flipped. Check them at 6 minutes, and if you make them smaller, they may definitely be ready at 6 minutes. For us, it takes a full 7 to 8 minutes to get a good color and thoroughly cook them. Once you're done, line them all up onto a cooling rack. We usually get 12 to a batch. And here you see the crumb. That is exactly what you're looking for. Lots of nooks and crannies. Oh, these were so good. And now for the serving suggestion. Take an egg. As you fry the egg, add a piece of thin sliced ham. While that's cooking, split and toast your English muffin. Turn off the heat and add your cheese. While that's melting, butter your English muffin. And here is the finished product. Isn't it beautiful? Oozing with cheese? Delicious. I hope you enjoy. We did.
Nom 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 nom. Be a cloud watcher.
Nom 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 nom.